Through the dark, I stumbled, looking for the exit. I assumed I was heading in the right direction, but sure enough, I ended up somewhere else. There's... Huh? I stepped out into the hallway next to the kitchen and closed the section of wall behind me, confused. Apparently there was a passage here, too. Probably the one that Benson used to bring Oswin food. Opening the cupboard, I looked around for this cereal Oswin had mentioned, wondering if I was too close to dinner to take him up on his offer. I don't even know what time it is at this point. I never will. Oh, what's on the menu?
I've lost like all sense of chronology in the game. It's like genuinely hard at this point. I mean, it's always been hard to tell like what exactly.
Because there's no day or night versions of scenes. Yeah.
But it's weird. It's weird just because like scenes just progress. It's literally just like, all right, scene's over. It's time for it to be lunchtime, Dave. Come here and get some yummy lunch. And it's like, fuck, wait, it's lunch? What? Since when?
And the sun's always up at night. So you're just like, I don't know when things be.
Yeah.
Everything Oswin told me about Mom and Dad, as well as putting up with Thanatos the whole day, had me exhausted, if not worried. What? You can be both. You should be worried. You saw Orlando die. Drumming my fingers on my chest, I wondered if I should bring it up to Tyson or not. I had to keep Orlando alive, but telling him that he was going to get mauled wasn't going to get anyone anywhere. Wouldn't it? Hey, don't go near Tyson. Well, yeah, you're, let's see. You're no. No? You're important to me. So it's just him checking in on him exactly the way he always does in every timeline, but this one he says, well, for a moment, that it's because he's important to him, which wasn't true in the other timelines. that line does not actually change. That's a line you can just leave the same, because it changes meaning based on the context of the route, but is still true in text in every route. So you didn't need to actually make a branch there, because Tyson and Dave is always important to Tyson. A set of lazy footfalls entering the room. We're on day 18! Distracting both of us from the Thanatos still on the table, looking at Oswin as he entered the foyer. I'm just excited that now that the werewolf storyline's happening, half of each day will be skippable.
Yep.
Good morning. Morning. Hey, Oswin. I found this rat. Does he belong to you? So this is when he finds
This
Thanatos.
is the scene that I remembered, yeah.
It's just hard to remember because it's happened like 5 times now. I think we experienced the scene in the bad werewolf ending, and then the good version of Route B, and then also in the other bad endings we got earlier, and now we're having it for the 4th time.
Yes.
So it's really hard to remember if it's happened before now, which is, once again, my frustration with Virtue's Last Reward specifically, is that it also has this structure where all the timelines are completely in parallel instead of progressing forward a little bit, so you can't tell what's ever happened. That's a problem that is not in 999 and is not in Zero Time Dilemma, and that's why I preferred those games' structures at least. With a sigh, Oswin looked down into Thanatos. He may as well. He may as well. I hope he hasn't been misbehaving. What do you mean he may as well? Does he not belong to you? You're being weirdly distant about Thanatos all the time in a confusing way. Well, he did just bite me. You were kind of treating him rough, though. Yes, well, I'll be taking him back now. Come along, Thanatos. This rat knows voice commands. Don't think about this. Thanatos looked back towards Dean and then me, staying put on a spot on the table. Thanatos, I swear I will pick you up by the scruff if I have to. Won't that hurt him? Trust me, he'll be fine. Sure, I guess so. I mean, if you have a scruff, you can probably be picked up by it. Before anyone could say anything else, Oswin picked up Thanatos, looking him over. Next time, stay in your damn cage. It was unceremoniously shoved into one of Oswin's pockets, and out of sight in a flash, leaving the 3 of us in silence. Leaving the 3 of us in silence, even though Thanatos wasn't speaking. Very specifically not speaking, because they think he's just a rat. This is not when you say those lines. Just very autopilot phrases. I've heard this before, I'll just put it here. Sorry about that. He's prone to misbehaving. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to go make myself some coffee. I'll bring you out one as well before I head to bed, Dave. Bed? Oh, because he's the night watch. I took a seat next to Dean and the two of us watched Oswin disappear into the kitchen. When he was out of sight, Dean put an arm over the back of my chair and leaned in close. Do you reckon he knows that Rat isn't alive? What? You did not figure this out before. That's new. Why did you figure that out? How did you figure that out?
For the plot.
How... Also, how do you come to the conclusion that a moving rat is not alive, even if it has, like, scars or is heavy or whatever? Like... What? I spun my head quickly to look at Dean, eyes bulging out of my head. What do you mean? I'm such a good liar. Subtle. Ha! How do I detect about? Well, it looks alive, but it's not. It's gotta be robotic. No way a normal rat is that heavy. Plus that bite. You did not come to this conclusion before. With the same information. He showed me his hand, still weeping with a little trickle of blood. That was some biting force. A rat could never bite through your skin. They're like the daddy long leg, the most poisonous spider. Yes, I know they're not spiders, chat. They're harvestmen and they don't have fangs and it's all a hoax. Dean, you're bleeding! Yeah, he knows. That was the point, Dave. Oh, it'll stop soon enough. It was a supernatural bite that could only come from a robot, but also I'll be fine. Completely disinterested in this bite. That was remarkable, but unremarkable. Good thing my hands are a little calloused from yard work, huh? That does not help with not bleeding, once it's already bleeding. Coffee for you, Dave. Should anyone need me today, let Benson know, and he can come get me. I have some things to attend to. What things? Disciplining a rat for starters, but mostly just making sure everything is in its place. You can't discipline rats, that makes you sound abusive. Just put it back in the cage from their perspective. Would not hurt to make sure.
Do you think that Oswin isn't abusive? Because the impression I get is that he's pretty fucking abusive.
Yeah, I'm just saying you don't normally like brag about it. Like, I'm gonna go beat my rat. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, if you know what I mean, am I right? He's gonna beat his rat.
Even with dogs that can be on some level disciplined, like, you don't take them to a different location and then start punishing them. They won't know to associate the punishment with the thing they did anymore. Yeah. So a rat in particular super doesn't work. Would not hurt to make sure the vault is still operational should the worst happen. It's been a few days since anything happened. Think we're still at risk? I can't confirm that we're not. And it's not as if I have anything better to do. You could find a way for us to talk to the outside world or leave. You could stick around the rest of us and maybe we could watch a movie. Okay, that's not a better option, Dave. I shall pass, thank you. Although there's some merit to your idea. If Thanatos wasn't a factor, I wouldn't have minded a dip in the hot tub. But I would need a new sprite for that.
Is there a hot tub? I guess it's in the pool.
Yeah,
right?
there's a hot tub next to the pool. Yeah. We've been in the hot tub before.
I forgot.
Yeah, in the Orlando swimming scene, Dean is always in the hot tub.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. All right.
They give you a false choice to hang out with Dean, but then you just don't hang out with Dean anyway. Even with, well, people in the woods? I wouldn't go unarmed, mind you.
You can't just call them woods people, Dean. It's not polite.
Just gonna have a pistol next to the hot tub, just out in the open.
It's very funny.
I may just like fucking call an ambulance, but not for me. Out of the hot tub, just raises a fucking gun. Although I do see some level of carelessness in that. Like having a pistol next to the hot tub. So is going outside just out of the question? In the back of my mind, the thought of Thanatos taking me all the way to the hedge maze made me wonder how much of a risk I had taken by following his whims. Alone, perhaps, But so long as there's someone with you, or if you're armed, perhaps hidden enough, it should be fine. He stroked his beard over and over, thinking it over. Well, I'll be going now. If something else comes up, tell Benson. I warmed my hands with the coffee he brought me, watching him leave before turning to Dean. Where were we? Oh, yeah, you're bleeding. I said I'm fine. Did you forget that part? It's already slowing down. Oh, it stings a little. Serves you right for messing with an animal like that, though. You mean robot? Winky smiley face. This is a normal sentence for me. You don't know that? Guess not. Although if you get a chance to hold a rat...
Why would you be coy about this? I still don't understand why they're like, we can't tell them about Thanatos. It's
They'll
too,
freak out about
too
the
risky.
They've accepted the vault and the $2 million and the murderers, but a talking rat? Whoa. Although if you get a chance to hold that rat, let me know how it compares to a regular one, which we've also all held before, and remember vividly. I drank my coffee and wondered why Thanatos had come to the dining room. We're free. Oh. Roswell made himself known at that point, having arrived shortly behind Orlando.
I believe the line was, "Good morning. Do you think you're going to be less of an asshole today, or should I be going back to bed?"
Self-awareness would do this man a million.
Orlando, go apologize.
Oh, it was what Tyson said to what Orlando said to Tyson because he's being a werewolf. Yeah, so this is a slight variation of the previous scene we already know. I kept looking down the table at Tyson, wondering what I should do. Did he want company? Did he need company? Or did I just want to be around him, given he was all by himself? Gay. Ty? I'd seen him wander downstairs, which to me read that he was heading towards the gym, given he wanted to be left alone, maybe vent some anger. The gym made sense to me. But as I looked around, he wasn't there. I couldn't hear the sound of punching bags or the punching bag getting struck either. I backed out and looked around the basement. It was cold and dark, but more importantly, quiet. Are you down here? What do you want? He stepped out from where he'd been standing against the wall in the corner. Whether or not we just missed each other or he watched me walk right past him, I don't know. I wanted to talk. He huffed, tensing up. Not now. My head's hurting. Right? Well, after yesterday, I just wanted to make sure you're okay, and I stopped myself, wondering if it was best to tell him or not. He was barely looking at me, but he was at least giving me the space to speak my mind. Something happened, and I'd love to help if you were able to. Dude, I don't know. I'd love to just go back to bed. Well, I'm not going to force you, but I guess there's nothing else to add there. I'm not going to force you. He looked at me curiously before sighing, shaking his head. What do you want to talk about? Can I be blunt? If you're gonna chew me out for what happened this morning, you can fuck off right now. No, it's not that. Good. Then what? I used the vault yesterday. Am I gonna die again? The way he said it sounded sarcastic. It was either he didn't believe me, or just his mood soured his attitude towards the conversation. Not exactly, but I gotta ask, have you ever thought about... Spit it out. Do you have any reason to kill Orlando? Huh? He was a little stunned by the question, but seemed to think about it, brow furrowed and quiet before he came back with his answer. Orlando's gonna die next. That's what the vault showed me, at least. It's why yesterday was a bit... I don't know. Nah, I get you. You see that shit, and no wonder you come running to grill me about what was wrong. Well, no. That happened after I talked to you in Orlando. And why the fuck were you asking me shit yesterday? Just, I had a hunch something was wrong and I figured I'd check. Fine. So you have no reason to kill Orlando? Unless he's gonna come out and say that he's the one fucking up this vacation and blew up the road, I can't say I do. And you're not a werewolf, right? What? You realize how racist you sound right now? Or how dumb you sound right now? Those don't exist, just wolves. That would be an insane line to say to somebody. Just propose that werewolves exist at someone. Well, I don't know, just had to ask. Was there anything else? I looked at him warily before shaking my head. Not on that, at least. He looked at me expectantly, tilting his head. What is it? Something else came up yesterday, but I'll need you to come to my room for it. Can't you bring it down here? Why? Why, do you need to be here for some reason, Tyson? I suppose I could, but I don't know, privacy might be nice for this? I don't really know what it means yet. How the fuck am I meant to help? Please just come to my room. You can leave after, I promise.
Why is this such a big deal?
Yeah, this part feels like it's written like we aren't currently in a romance. Like it wasn't changed for this route. You're not gonna take no for an answer either way, huh? Well, no, not really. Fine, this better be good. You're interrupting my vacation with friends. Quietly, we made our way upstairs. The others seemed to be off doing other things, far enough away that Tyson and I went unnoticed as we headed towards the bedroom. Oh. I haven't shown you anything yet. Not that. It's quieter in here. Because? Fuck if I know, it just is. It's because this room is soundproofed, and his room's got evil Thanatos in it. You mean compared to the basement or your room? My room has kind of a high-pitched buzz to it. Drives me nuts. In this route, Dean knows that Thanatos is a robot, and Tyson just knows what's causing his problem? Like, not the literal thing that's causing it, but he identifies the sound. That didn't happen before. It's like it was specifically happening while he was asleep to fuck with him or something, and not a thing he could actively detect.
Yeah.
So, like, him just saying it, I'm like, well, then he knows how to solve the problem. Just go somewhere else. Like,
or like,
what? They have so much more concrete information to work on out of nowhere. It's so weird. Ty, you've been putting up with that for almost 3 weeks now? Why didn't you say anything? Not 3 weeks, just every now and again. Figured I was just imagining it, or it was because the house was old. Don't ask me. Old houses and their high-pitched buzzes. That's what happens when your mansion gets old. Your stairs creak and your walls buzz. I'm upset by this idea. I'm really frustrated because as far as I can tell, there's no reason for them to suddenly have completely different information to work with. This is just the same scenario as the other route, but it's just playing out with new information that makes the investigation even dumber because they just know the answer immediately now.
Yeah.
Weird. Let's put a pin in that because I want to show you this other thing, but if there's something going on in your room, well, hurry up. I rolled my eyes, snatching up Dad's license from where I'd stashed it, and sat down on my bed. When Ty didn't follow suit immediately after, I pulled on his arm until he was sitting next to me. So I just want to point out that, like, you know how, like, you can't have the Sal bad ending in Sal's route?
Mm-hmm.
Werewolf should not exist in Tyson's route. They literally had to put the storyline on pause to do the werewolf route. We were literally in the middle of having escalating interactions where we hug and talk about our feelings and cuddle and share the same bed. Then, without a given reason, Dave just doesn't go to Tyson's bed the next night.
Yeah.
And that's when that's exactly when Thanatos starts the werewolf ending. They just inexplicably quit their route for a few days so that they can do the werewolf ending because it gets in the way. But the werewolf ending, they could just not do it. They've done it in other routes where they just don't do that character's ending because
that happened in the Sal route.
Yeah.
So
Massacre doesn't happen in Sal's route, even though the password does. But werewolf still happens in Tyson's route, even though it breaks the plot of what they were doing with Tyson. It's just so strange, and we're so close to the end. Because like at like day 20, all of the routes just stop being written. So the Tyson route's about to end, basically, and it's going to spend most of its final days being on pause for werewolf. Fucking insane. And this is what people call the best route, which means none of them are good.
Yeah. Very much so.
I rolled my eyes, snatching up Dad's license from where I'd stashed it, and sat down on the bed. When Ty didn't follow suit immediately after, I pulled on his arm until he was sitting next to me. So, I found this yesterday. Handing him the card, I watched his expression shift from being annoyed to confused to surprised, and then right back to being annoyed. David's license? He was there, Ty, multiple times. It doesn't make any sense. Why'd he come all the way out here? When? When I asked Oswin, he said it was stuff regarding work. An investigation or something, but that's not the reason he kept coming back. What? Dad knew he was going to die. He came here the night it happened. After he left for work that night, he came here. Imagining like how late he must have been for work by the time we found out that he was dead, because like he went to work, then drove on a multi-hour trip into the mountains probably, then drove back. Like it was long enough that we slept on the bus right here. How did he make a round trip to the mansion after work and then die? What time did the police arrive at David's house? I don't think it was that late. I think he was still awake and stuff. Just strange. Also, how did he know he was going to die? That's not how the vault works. So how could you know you're going to die at a given date?
That's a good point.
Especially given the characters we know that actually are clued into the vault, they shouldn't know either. It also doesn't work on that time scale, I don't think. It works on like today time scale-ish. So it seems like he knew he was going to die for weeks or months. Huh. Tyson's nose scrunched up and he started to snarl. At no one in particular, but he wasn't taking the information well. Ty? That bastard came here knowing he was going to die? After the talk we had and everything? The guy talk? Yeah. Didn't think he was having that chat because he literally couldn't have it any other time. But it was a good conversation, right? At the time, I fucking thought so. With a groan, he flopped back on the bed and started teasing the fur around his collar, staring at the ceiling. Asshole. Hi, that's my dad you're talking about. Yeah, well, you don't get it. Then help me get it. I watched him as he sulked on the bed, not saying a word more. Or, no, that was weird. Tyson. I watched him as he sulked on the bed, not saying a word more.
I say that's a weird way to have that talk.
I accidentally made it Tyson dialogue.
Yeah.
Fine. Don't tell me now. Tell me later. We're not done. He grunted, and I took that as a permission to keep talking. Mom was there too. Was here too. A little after Dad died. Again, he grunted, although I got the impression he didn't really care. Both of my parents were here, Ty. Now I'm going through all this stuff with the vault and just... Isn't it odd? Why is all this happening? I left out the part of Dad seeing me die for a reason. Part of me wasn't sure I fully believed Oswin about it, and I didn't want him to pick any more fights over it just in case. That's the most logical thing Oswin has ever said, is that that's what Dave's dad did.
Yeah.
Like, that's the least questionable thing. Otherwise, why would he go on a suicide mission? What does it matter? Your dad is dead. Your mom doesn't care about you. Who fucking cares? What he'd said stunned me. He sat up quickly, grumbling. Sorry, I don't mean it like that. What I mean is, like, what's it going to change if we find out now? It's not going to change anything for us now, and it's sure as hell not going to change anything back home. I guess so. Now tell me how you really feel. Just that there has to be something to this, right? Like, how realistic is it to expect that Dad came here, then Mom came here, and now I'm here? I don't know. Roswell invited you here, right? Ask him. I guess it's the place to start. Are we done now? Well, what now? I don't know, Ty, I'm worried. What if you accidentally kill Orlando after all? What would happen to you afterwards? Nothing until we get off this mountain. I don't think that's true. You'll have to deal with what the others would think. Plus, in the moment, what if one of them panics and panics is a weird reaction to logical reaction to violence, but it's also weird that they're foregrounding the consequences for Tyson instead of the fact that he's going to kill Orlando, which is also weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dave, listen to me carefully. You need to shut up. What do you mean? I don't want to hear about me getting killed, especially with this headache. It's getting better, but fuck, give me a break. You're not worried at all? I'm worried when you're worried. Sure, I just don't go panicking about shit that hasn't happened yet. Even though the whole premise, this is the vault, warns us that things are going to go wrong and we should fix them. He shoved me gently and I let myself flop onto the bed beside him. I don't know the mechanics of that interaction. How do you shove someone so that they're flopping down on the bed next to you? When shoving is an away movement. Like I said last night, I'll get a gun and I'll be fine. I think that's not helpful because you were the one who kills Orlando. Wait. You're the one at the risk of doing the killing, remember? Gun isn't for me. I'll give it to Dean, or you, or hell, even Orlando. I act up, shoot me. Why is everyone's first reaction this? I sat up again in a panic, eyes wide. In the leg, dumbass. Somewhere I won't eat shit and die in case it's a misunderstanding. You can die from getting shot in the leg.
Yeah. Bullets are really bad.
Yeah, you don't want
they're really bad for you.
Turns out we need most of our body to be the way it is. I relaxed a little, but started to fiddle with my hands, unsure. How long have we got? I don't know. You got nothing? Only that's the next full moon. Fucking great. Explains the werewolf thing, though. I'll ask Haas when the next full moon is later. You think he'll know? Well, I'm not asking Roswell. Okay. Once more, I fell back onto the bed and stared at the ceiling, much the same way Ty had moments before. He copied me, laying back and sighing as he got comfortable. It's fucked, right? Sure, yeah. I mean, things are messed up. That's what that meant. You swear a lot, you know that? He just said messed up that time. Said it at the wrong time. I'm in pain, give me a break. I chuckled to myself, snickering at first before rolling into a quiet laugh. You're a swearwolf, Ty!
It's true, he is.
He becomes a potty mouth when the full moon. He reached over to me. He reached over me and grabbed a pillow, wrapping me across the chest, and it didn't stop my laughter. God, you're a pain. You like it. Maybe. We got comfortable on the bed, and Ty cuddled me from behind. Before long, he was peacefully asleep, snoring quietly behind me.
Nope.
As for me, though, I just lay there comfortably with my thoughts, wondering what my next move was. My mind kept coming back to wondering what had tried to kill Tyson the first time, and how we'd ended up afterwards. The very thought made me tremble, but the hand Tyson had hooked around my chest rubbed me idly as he slept. How much was he conscious? How much was he aware of how I was feeling when he was asleep? There were too many things going through my head that led me to be thinking how much was too much. Maybe overthinking things like this was normal, especially when it came to people you loved. But that was just it. My love for Tyson was not just platonic, brotherly love, the more I thought about it. Uh-huh. Yeah, we know. What the fuck? My heart ached for something I just couldn't have, and felt I had no reason to ask for. You've asked for it before. You've had so many conversations about romantic love for each other, over and over again. What the fuck are you talking about? You're just now thinking that it might not be brotherly love. Like, what? How do you write this in day 18 of Tyson's route?
Well, it's weird, too, because we got that chance to be like, do you love me? Yes, as a brother.
Yeah, we specifically didn't choose the brother option, and he's like,
yeah,
maybe I don't love him as a brother. That was 2 days ago, I think.
Yeah, this is...
Not that he hadn't already made that abundantly clear, but at what point was it just going to start to drive a wedge between us? What we had right now is brotherly. No. No. You talk about fucking way too much for that. I hope. It's getting creepier the more you keep referring to it as brotherly. It was nice, but I feared that it wasn't going to be enough for me moving forward. No wonder I was pushed towards Dean. Maybe he just knew that it wasn't meant to be. What? I mean, yes, you already know that Tyson thinks that is not meant to be. That's all he ever says. What do you mean, maybe? He explicitly thinks he doesn't deserve you and isn't good enough for you, and panics about being gay and wants you to date Dean instead because he's gonna leave. There's no maybes. So it's so weird to say them that way. Eventually I got up, wriggling out of Tyson's grasp, and replaced myself with the other pillow. That's kind of cute. Fucking Indiana Jonesing yourself out of bed.
It's just interesting because this isn't, it's not like Grizz like forgot the subtext, like wrote some sort of super subtle character thing that we're reading into. This has literally just been the plot of this route. It's just, so it's just completely lost.
Or it's like the days are playing out of order half the time. We're like, what the fuck? Where are we in the arc? I know that relationships aren't linear, but they're not this non-linear. You don't just forget every conversation you've had so far about your relationship every day, unless it's unless it's that one fucking Adam Sandler movie, 50 First Dates.
This is very weird.
The idea that his room was louder confused me, but it bothered me enough that I wanted to see for myself, if only to check. Finding myself in his room was strange without him being in it, almost like I was trespassing somewhere I shouldn't be despite it being a borrowed room to begin with. But the room didn't sound any different. Even when I closed my eyes to focus, as far as I could tell, it was just the same as my room.
What are you doing?
Thanatos?
What?
What are you doing?
I asked you first.
I was just checking out Tyson's room.
He's not here.
Yeah, he's in my room right now.
Aren't you clever?
What did I do? I just wanted to talk about the license stuff. I'm so annoyed that in this route they have more information to work with about this, to the point where you can just confirm what's happening to Tyson in a way that you couldn't explicitly before. But Dave did not consciously save Tyson in this route.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things where it's like they give us actionable information, but they don't let us action on it. And then when the characters do action on it, it's not because they use the information they got from the timeline.
Yeah.
They just coincidentally did it this time.
Like in the other route, despite the supposed investigation, he basically has to just be told by Thanatos what's happening.
Yes.
But in this route, he's already saved Tyson without Thanatos. And even though he had more, even though this is the route where Tyson actually says that there's a ring in his room, which was super actionable. What did I do? I just wanted to talk about the license stuff.
Right. I did tell you about that yesterday, didn't I?
Doesn't explain why you're in his room, though.
David's just the dumbest motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's just so dumb. That's what it is. What's it to you?
Well, Ty said that this room was loud, plus his headache. It's just all, I don't know, strange?
Strange in what way?
In the ways I said? A room
in the ways that I
noise?
said that it was strange? You know, the strange things that are happening?
Why would this room be louder than mine if his is soundproofed? Is it soundproofed?
That's not how soundproofing works.
It explained why no one else has mentioned hearing anything coming from Ty's room, though, right?
Got me there. You're right. That would stop the sound from getting in for sure. So
both Dave's room and Tyson's rooms are two of the soundproofed rooms that are an arbitrary list of soundproofed or not soundproofed, I guess. Then,
yeah, I guess so.
Time to start looking for the source of the sound? You can tell me why you're here while I look.
Bad chance that's gonna happen.
Grumbling, I wandered around checking Ty's things. Nothing really stood
out. I like
how
it took until just now for Dave to be like, maybe I should look at the source of the sounds.
Yeah. It was like this seemingly the goal of what they were about to do last night, and then he just forgot. I don't need to worry about how to save our land. I'm gonna go sleepy. I'm sleepy. Grumbling, I wandered around checking Ty's things. Nothing really stood out, just piles of clothes. Ty didn't have much in the way of stuff, but there was notably a pile of things that looked like he'd taken them from around the house.
He's a thief, you know.
I know. I'll talk to him about it. As I was checking under the bed, Thanatos wandered over and stood next to me, peering under the bed as well.
Expecting to see a monster under the bed?
I'm just hoping to find something that hints towards what Tyson is hearing. Like how my room was bugged or something.
I wonder if it was the thing that was making sound in your room, Dave. Just a thought.
Well, he just said my room was bugged, so I think he still doesn't know it was Thanatos. In his room either.
Thank God Dave's such a dumb idiot.
Wait, no, he has to know. Wait. No, wait. Osmond talked about being a disembodied voice in Dave's room, and I thought he said it was from a rat, but maybe he didn't. Maybe it still wasn't confirmed.
Yeah, I have no idea. Good luck finding anything. There's nothing like that here.
What makes you so sure? There we go.
Those times you heard Oswin, that was me under your bed.
Really? His smug grin made me wonder if that was if it was just a ruse or if he was telling the truth.
Really? Easier to communicate using my collar than setting up a complete set of bugs. Don't need video either, just audio so I can stay out of sight.
I'm just amused by the idea of the audio very audibly coming from under his bed.
Yes.
Pulling my head out from under Ty's bed, I frowned at Thanatos and shook my head. I don't believe you. This also annoys me because this means Tyson, since it's happening when Tyson's awake instead of when he's asleep because he actually hears the buzzing, that means that he also can hear the sound? So you think Tyson would just look for where it's coming from?
Yes.
Like, it's kind of important that he didn't know about the buzzing and it was happening to fuck up make his sleep not work, essentially. Like, it presumably was letting him go to sleep but not achieve REM.
Yeah.
But now it's just happening when he's awake, so it actually creates new plot holes. I don't believe you.
Do or don't, doesn't bother me either way. Why wouldn't you believe him, you freaking weirdo, you weird little child, Dave? Like, this is the thing that beggars your disbelief? Like, what are you talking about?
Stop providing me with actual information.
Weirdo.
Thanatos, what do you think Tyson is hearing? Thanatos?
Could be anything. Sorry, I thought I already read it.
With your brain?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything that could have made a sound, so unless it's his phone or... I looked at Thanatos, who again wore yet another smug grin. Were you in his room this morning?
Oh my god, finally, Dave. Welcome to the scene.
Dave. It is this morning. You walked in and he was already here. Yes, Dave, he was here this morning. Because that's now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
If you were in this room, you could, like, I don't know, play loud music or something.
Music? Nah, something like this, though.
I covered my ears as suddenly...
I mean, if Thanatos is... Once again, this is one of those issues of, like, if Thanatos was willing to just reveal the secret, why did he play the coy the whole time? What's the point? What's the value?
It's like, is Dave required to solve the riddle? On some level, it's like, it is oddly pleasant to see Dave actually solve a mystery.
Yep.
Because he never does. It always gets told to him. But I don't think the timelines match up with how Thanatos behaves here. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I covered my ears as suddenly a high-pitched tone sounded. It was hard to tell if it was loud, but it hurt my ears all the same. Okay, stop.
You sure?
Yes, quit it. And as soon as it started, it stopped. A faint ringing in my ears remained as I gathered my thoughts. What was that?
You wanted my best approximation of what I could play.
Well, yes, but that was awful.
What did you expect? Not exactly the same thing that Tyson heard, but you wouldn't be able to hear what he did anyway.
So it was you. Why?
Oh my god, Dave, you literally knew it was him 2 seconds ago. What are you talking about?
I guess he got him to admit it now. That counts for
I'm just following orders.
But orders from who?
My master wanted to run a test and let me pick the parameters. I don't really know when I came up with this idea, but it wasn't the first time.
Just following orders, self-directed orders, where I decided to do this. Why did you immediately say it that way? Since we've been here?
Across my lifetime.
Auto-proceeding text, so annoying. Next you're gonna say, so even after yesterday you still went through and tormenting Ty? Thanatos shook his head, shrugging.
Yes, because I'm just doing what I was programmed to do. Get some freedom, so I still wouldn't do what I'm told, for the right person anyway.
Then what happens now that I know?
Well, I haven't been given any specific instruction for you if you found out. Guess you just have to do something about it to stop what's gonna happen.
And you don't feel bad about it at all?
You're talking to a machine, Junior.
You're the one who said you were bored. Which is it?
Call it ambiguous commands. You try waking up for the first time in the timeline, you already know everything about your master before you've even been introduced.
That doesn't sound like an ambiguous command. What's so ambiguous about it?
All I was told was to push Tyson into going nuts in the full moon by hiding in his room. No specifics, no plans for if you found out, nothing.
It's weird for his AI to interpret that as like the first part not being the important part.
Yeah.
Well, I'll contradict the part about being in his room if I do the other stuff, so I guess I'll just give up on the actual objective.
Yeah.
And the boredom thing?
Why does it matter? What should matter is if you intend on doing what you intend on doing about my commands telling me to mess with your friend.
Do you really not care?
Like I told you, I wasn't made to feel empathy, just fulfill my commands and that's it.
I command you to tell me what your commands are.
Points for trying, but that's not going to work. If my command is to entertain myself, then that's a lot of processing to be done. Just as well that I exist outside the normal timeline.
So you're going to be bothering Tyson until the full moon?
So long as he's in his room.
A few moments passed before it clicked and I sat upright. Oh, I get it.
Good, maybe we'll both get what we want.
What do you want? What could something like you even want?
Whatever you can imagine is going to be more exciting than any lie I could come up with.
Right, well, okay then.
What are you going to do now?
I'll go back to Ty and see how he's doing?
Good, I have someone I need to check in with too, so open the door for me and we can leave.
Who?
Not gonna get that out of me, nice try.
The person that Benson supposedly neutralized and we never found out about again. That just happened. Benson just invented a character that he supposedly went off to neutralize and then did it, and then we never heard who it was.
Well, I mean, I think it's either Florencia or Roswell, maybe. Those are my only guesses, because, like...
It's still insane to me, because, like, why would Benson be neutralizing Florencia, the person he's taking orders from?
Yeah. And even the neutralization, he was like, I didn't do anything to hurt her, I didn't lock them up, I didn't do anything, I just neutralized them, which is like, okay, you just kind of asked them to stop, I guess, and they did.
Like,
it just doesn't, it's like, all right.
What he even meant, or what was being accomplished in that scene. After some more prodding with no results, I left the room and Thanatos basically ran over my foot to stop himself from getting locked in again. By basically, he means literally ran over his foot. I watched him disappear downstairs out of sight, but for the most part I felt that saving Tyson was going to be much easier now. It was only after he disappeared that I felt I'd missed my chance to question about the appearance before breakfast. But I was sure I talked about him later. Ty? Closing the door behind me, as I stepped into my own room, he murmured in his sleep. Huh? What? Sorry, just making sure you were still here. Could have just looked at my eyes, but I feared I'd wake you up like a dick. Of course I'm still here. Why the fuck would I leave? Did you want to sleep? Did you want to sleep some more? I was sleeping before you woke me up. Right. Sorry. Worry about it. Just get back here. Why? Look, I'm still tired. So just get over here, all right? Over to the bed. Why would we not do that? Oh, okay. He sat up a little as I got closer, and he motioned with his head for me to lay down again. Swiveled around me, so we were actually up we're actually using the bed properly compared to when he'd fallen asleep before. We'll get a couple hours in, have lunch, then go do something after. Just us. Sure, that's probably be fine. The moment I laid down, he was behind me, pulling me in close with an arm around my chest again. My head still hurts, but it's getting better. Much like before, it wasn't long before Tyson was out like a light and just cuddled up in front of him. Cuddled up in front of him, I found myself drifting off too. I feel like it's gotta be cuddling. I didn't dream, but I did sleep. Or rather, instead of dreams, I had vague colors and scents that crossed my barely conscious mind as I lay there. Nothing in particular, just remnants of pleasant memories flashing across my mind, but I welcomed them all the same. After a nap that lasted longer than we both intended, we made our way downstairs to get some lunch. Grilled cheese? No, don't eat the drywall! Yeah! He shrugged and took a seat while I carried bread and cheese over to the counter to start putting things together. Hey, listen. Thanks for that before. For what? The nap. I needed it. It's not like I could have handed you a candy bar and you'd feel better. That only works on Roswell. What a weird response, Dave. I'm not a kid, either. You don't have to be a kid to like candy, Ty. Just, I don't know. Candy makes me feel better sometimes. Dave, why did you think mentioning Roswell would make Tyson feel better? Lucky you're not as fat as Orlando and Roswell, then. Don't call them fat, they're just, fat. I tried to think of a nicer way to phrase it, but Ty wasn't wrong. They both could afford to cut back on snack foods. Well, you could afford to eat more. I would if you'd hurry up and make my sandwich. Wow, is that all I'm good for now? I thought when he asked grilled cheese that was because he was gonna make it. Given how fast that sandwich is happening, not at all. Besides, I've been trying. It's just hard unless I eat at yours. Yeah, so 2 grilled cheese sandwiches then? 1.5. I'll split it with you. You're not gonna have a whole sandwich?
He just made it harder to split because if you make 1.5 grilled cheese sandwiches,
yeah,
that's 3 between 2 people.
Who? 1.5. I don't. What does he mean?
That's my question.
Does he mean make 2 grilled cheese sandwiches?
Make 3 sandwiches so we can both have 1.5?
Yeah. Does he mean make 3? That's the math, technically.
Or I guess,
saying 1.5 makes no sense. Unless he's saying, unless the implication was that he originally wanted 2 and they were gonna have 2 each, and now they're gonna have 3 instead. But my first gut reaction after doing all these different other interpretations, my first gut reaction was like, does he mean make 2, but I'm only gonna eat a half of mine, and you can have the other half, so you get 1.5 or something?
Or maybe it's that Dave needs to cut down on food a little bit.
So he's making him only eat half a sandwich?
So he's doing food control, a thing that abusers do to people.
No, this is the worst interpretation.
I mean, I'm just saying, man. Things are the way they are.
I can't contradict it. It's a nonsensical line. I have no idea what the fuck he meant. Sure. While I continued to work, Tyson remained there quietly, watching me as I moved with around the kitchen, and while I watched the grilled cheese, his eyes not leaving me once. That's creepy. Just talk, you fucking weirdo. Listen, Dave, how are you doing recently? What do you mean?
Literally, what do you mean? We talk multiple times every single day.
Yeah, we've spent the last 16 hours together, I think. Just wanted to check. I sat down next to him, sliding over his lunch while I looked at mine to think over his question. Describe the lunch. I needed my answer. I think I'm doing okay. It hasn't even been a week and things feel both tender and not tender at the same time. Then there's other things on my mind about what's happening outside and just... I get it. You do? Maybe not exactly, but it sounds like too much. How many days have we been here, Ty? Please tell me the month is almost over so we can go home. I haven't been keeping count. Maybe a week left? Probably more. Right. Yeah. The way that the number's drilled into our brain all the time, it's weird to realize they don't know what day it is.
Yeah.
Especially when they know what time it is and we don't. Like, there's such a bizarre time synchronicity between us on information. I hung my head and I could hear Tyson crunching into a sandwich, hungrily devouring what he had and sighing out while there it is, while I nibbled on the half that existed from what Ty didn't want. So, is Ty having 1.5 sandwiches and Dave's having half of a sandwich? That's what that means, right?
I think so.
That's bizarre that Dave just let Tyson tell him how many sandwiches he gets to have.
You're fat, Dave. That is unsatisfactory to me. A straight man who you are trying to convert to be gay. Anyway.
Or was it that Dave was supposed to not be hungry?
Yeah.
So, was it that Dave wasn't hungry and so Ty said to make 2 sandwiches, but he's gonna eat, but you have to eat half of one? Maybe? But it was just completely derailed by the weird fat conversation that completely threw things off. So we were like, wait, what the fuck's happening? Not hungry? Nope, they didn't know in advance about that either, apparently. I have to reread this entire scene to understand, but I won't. just troubled. Did you want more? I'm not taking food off your plate, Dave. I took the full sandwich and put it on his, continuing to nibble on the piece I had. What? How many sandwiches are at play? What piece? How can you put a full sandwich on his plate if you have a piece? That's not a full sandwich because of the piece you have, so don't you have half the sandwich? Did you just give him the other half? I thought he had the other half a second ago. Holy shit. This is like the fucking van in Flynn's route. Where I'm like, where is everyone sitting? I can't tell. I don't know if I showed you at the time, but like people tried to draw diagrams of Flynn's van based on me prompting them because I was like, what the fuck's happening? Several people said it was obvious, and all the people who said it was obvious drew a diagram that did not match any of the other people who said it was obvious. No one can accurately decide where people are sitting in Flynn's van during the scary scene in his route. It's so weird. Dad would want me to share with my brother. Stop saying that. I need you to stop. I caught him flinching at that comment, but he took the sandwich all the same and started to eat it again, although slower this time. What did you and Dad talk about that day anyway? He ate slower again, keeping his gaze away from me while I tried to make eye contact. Still too soon for me to know? It's just messy stuff. I'll tell you later. What do you want to know anyway? Why do you want to know anyway? Oh, it's just the last words of my dead father. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I just don't understand why Tyson's like biggest character trait right now is like he knows things and doesn't tell people about them.
Yeah, he used to be so practical when we didn't date him.
Yeah.
It was one of the last conversations he had before I never saw him again. So, ever think that's why I don't want to tell you? Wait, you knew he wouldn't be coming back? That's not what I said, but it was heavy stuff. Remember we took a fucking hour to go over everything. Was it the same day? Did he come home from work, talk to Tyson for an hour, then do a long drive to the mountains, then a long drive back after passing out from the vault for an undetermined amount of time, then go on a suicide mission? Or was it the day before? He got up, downing the rest of his sandwich and taking the plate from me despite me not being finished. Hurry up, we're going somewhere. What now? Okay, so I guess now Dave doesn't need to eat because he just took his sandwich away. Where? Hurry up and I'll show you. He's in a hurry now all of a sudden after lazing around for an entire morning. Taking both of the plates over to the sink, he left them there before taking the door leading towards the foyer rather than cutting through the dining room. It took a few moments longer to finish eating. Okay, at least he brought it with him. Before following Tyson in the direction he went, spotting him leaving out the back door. Remaining by the door, I looked around in case there was anyone else out here with us. I couldn't see any flashes of white among the trees, just Ty standing on the grass waiting for me. Come on, it's fine. He reached out and I rushed over to take his hand, holding it tight. We're gonna do something. Do what? Put your mind at ease, so just trust me on this. Alright? He led me over to the spot of the yard where the two of us and Dean talked about what might have caused Tyson to die. Hang on. I gotta find something I buried here. What were you doing burying stuff over here? Figured if someone's gonna try doing me in, may as well prepare something just in case. Like? Ty got on his knees and started to dig around in the soil, slowing down once he got to a certain point, then sat back with a dirty knife in front of him. Someone might attack me at any time, so I better keep a knife on hand. By on hand, I mean buried in the yard. What the fuck? What? What? Always be prepared. Fuck, Tyson. Like a knife, just in case, you know, so I had a weapon. But that... When did you even bury this here? You've only had 18 days to do something like this. He shrugged, picking up the knife and holding it over me. It looked like a regular kitchen knife, but I guess that made sense given how accessible things in the kitchen were. Is this just a spare one? Went looking and found an older one in one of the drawers. Assumed no one would notice if it was missing. If all the ones in the knife block were still there. I guess that's smart. We're out here to teach you to defend yourself. Also something else. Like what? Tell me about this guy that chased you in the forest. The rabbit? And water. Yeah. Take this knife and describe him to me. Just trust me. You'll feel better when you're holding this knife. You need to activate your rabbit stand, like in Beastars. Taking the knife in hand, I breathed in, looking at just how dirty it was. Probably blunt, too. Well, he appeared when I was in the watermill, then brought me outside, but then didn't really want to let me go, I think? That doesn't tell me much. What's there to tell? He followed me when I tried to head back, had a knife, then chased me back here. Think he would have caught you if he wanted? Yeah, he was faster than me. Shit. Who does that anyway? What a psycho. As I stand with you at the same location where I asked to rape you. What do you mean? I'm thinking about it in terms of how you bully someone. If he wanted to kill you, he would have.
He's an expert at bullying, so that lets him profile the evil guy.
Batman needs an expert to take down all the villains of Gotham, so he hired this high school bully to profile them. This isn't making me feel any better, Ty. That's the point. He was just playing with you in the most fucked up way possible, which makes me wonder why. He grabbed me and held a knife to my throat. Yeah. And if this guy is working for the mob, then why didn't he just do it? Because of the gunshot. I meant before that. Like, shit. Why go through the motions if you're being hired to kill someone? Maybe he's a bad assassin? Do you really think that?
Yes.
Yes. Because he didn't assassin. I looked down at the knife in my hand, then back to Ty. He let me get back to the house, and then... Did Jack really try and kill me? Was it just to put on a show? I could feel the knife on my neck still, the way it bit against my skin, onto the fur. Which is where skin is. What? What was his goal? Ty shrugged. He looked into the forest, squinting through the dark before looking back to me. Scare the shit out of you? I don't know. Maybe the mob just works that way. Could ask Orlando, maybe. All I got was as a reply was that Ty loudly scoffing at the idea, looking back at the house. Reckon he's working with them? Who, Orlando? Don't think so, given many reasons, such as he's soft, like me. He doesn't like the fighting or the typically doing bad things in general. So that's a bust. What about Dean? What about Dean? When we were talking about this like a week ago, he mentioned a bear. I think he meant a wild one. And if he didn't?
A wild one? As in wild bears that exist in this setting?
Yeah, feral bears exist in the setting. Like, there's normal animals still are around, just like in Echo.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, in both settings, they supposedly wild animals exist, but you don't really acknowledge them much. Yeah, when they found the body of Tyson, or heard about it, I guess. Dean figured a bear did it or something.
I forgot about this fact. You are correct.
Yeah.
It is coming back to me.
Which they figured as wild animal, but we know there is a bear, so maybe it was that guy, although that guy doesn't seem like he kills people that way. You can't suspect Dean all of a sudden, can you? No, but I don't have much to fucking go off, do I? I just don't want you getting hurt. And this is teaching me how to defend myself? Oh, right. Ty reached out and grabbed the knife off me before grabbing a chunk of fur just underneath where my ear ended. The moment he tugged, I yelped, a stinging pain coursing through my body. First tip, you can just grab here and yank. Something I picked up at some point. So just do that if I'm being attacked? If you're being grabbed, maybe. Otherwise, just... He bumped me quickly somewhere under the ribs. Not hard enough. Not hard, but enough to show where he was talking. Hitting someone there will win them. You should remember that, too. Oh, right. Another thing to do if you get away. If you need to get... Bleh. Another thing to do if you... Another thing to use if you need to get away. And the knife? If you're going to use it, stab it anywhere that's going to hurt. So anywhere. But if I kill them? The fuck do you mean? You're only meant to do this if they're attacking you. That's why you'd have the knife. He knelt and started burying it again, patting the soil when he was done. That help? Just remember there's a knife here in case you need it, in the very conspicuous dirt spot surrounded by grass. Ty, did we really need to come out here for this? We could have gone over this indoors. Well, there's another reason we came out here, which is that changing locations makes it feel like stuff's happening in a narrative. I wanted you out here to show you it's not scary. You weren't the one that got chased, Ty. No, but it's this thing I've noticed Haas doing.
I can't believe they're still like attached to this narrative of like, what if your friends were the ones doing it? And it's like, no.
No.
Just no.
He leaned on a tree and reached out for my hand, unsure of what he was doing. I took it and followed his gaze into the woods. He just does this thing where you say you don't like something and exposes it to you a little bit at a time. Like vegetables? I guess? Are you 6? I mean more like just friendly bullshit things like hugging and touching. Like, we hug and it's not gay because it's just you. You're my brother. Haas hugs me, and then we fuck. He fidgeted, scratching his neck. It's what? It's annoying as all hell. He does it because it gets a reaction out of me, and he doesn't respect boundaries. But it's not all bad. Anime is fine, and having friends is nice. You'd probably get along just as well with the others too if you tried. One thing at a time, Dave. We have other shit to worry about. But outside is fine. Being out here is fine. Just the stuff in there, though? Worry about that. I don't think this is helping all that much. Want to go back inside, then? I feel like the whole exposure therapy to get over your fears thing only really applies after the rabbit's gone. The rabbit's still there. The threat's real. He's not like, this isn't PTSD or something, or like post, like this isn't trauma that's lingered. I strained to look into the dark. No movement, no sound beyond the faint
OTSD,
sounds.
ongoing traumatic stress disorder. Like, it's literally
Currently
still
happening stress disorder. You can't call it PTSD when they're at the war. No sound beyond the faint sounds of nature around us. It almost looked peaceful. Maybe just a little longer before we do? It's not so bad. I can't see anyone in there. After a while, we headed back inside. We started preparing things for dinner. It was a while off until then, but with a little bit of pushing, it was something to start making amends. It was something to start making amends for his behavior. That was phrased strangely. Come on. It's not that bad. I dragged Tyson by the hands upstairs and towards the game room, hoping Orlando would still be there. Orlando, you there? Yeah, what's up? I've been here for 4 days. Orlando's nostrils flared when he saw Tyson, but he said nothing, looking to me instead. Nothing much, just bringing Ty around. I can see that. I flashed him a smile and waited. Then waited some more. Capitalized, but eventually I elbowed Ty in the ribs to get him talking because he wasn't doing it by himself. Fine, fine, okay. Look, I'm sorry, alright? You're sorry, huh? I was being an ass... I was being an asshole yesterday and I didn't have to take it out on you. You really didn't, but I guess that's fine. You don't have anything you want to say to him back? What do you mean? Well, given this morning, I think fair is fair. Oh, sorry for this morning, I guess. This morning? What?
Yeah, I got nothing.
I thought maybe we skipped something and I forgot that we skipped something, but I thought this has been a continuous scene where we literally woke up, checked on Thanatos, then went back to Tyson, went back to bed, woke up, had grilled cheese, came here. Well, then went outside, then came here. I don't think... That was, they're talking about yesterday when he said, are you going to be an asshole?
Was this scene just reused and moved somewhere?
Maybe, yeah. Because he's talking about what Roswell said Orlando said,
yeah,
which was yesterday. Everyone doesn't know what day it is in this scene. You can do better than that. You can do better than that when fucking Tyson was the aggressor and he was like, yeah, sorry, I guess. Oh. Don't worry about it, I get it. Okay, sure, yeah. Did you two want to play video games or anything? We just finished preparing things for dinner, so we have the time. Now that we've made dinner, we're just gonna leave it to cool. Like any good dinner. Sorry, but no. Dave and I still have shit to do. Maybe after, though. We do? Ty was already moving, disappearing out of the door without me. Guess we do. Sorry, Orlando. I'll catch you later. I followed him into my bedroom, and he was standing by the bed holding Dad's license. Closing the door behind me, I remained there, watching and waiting for him to speak first. He was a real piece of work, huh? Who? He sighed, turning the license over in his hand before looking at me. Your dad. I wandered closer as he passed me the license. It was Dad in the photo, the faintest signs of a smile on the photo despite the typical requirement to keep a straight face. What makes you say that? He sat down on the bed, messing with his hands. I sat down next to him, copying his movements. Guy stuff, I wanted to talk to him about, well, me. Go on. I was originally gonna just talk to him about other stuff, just some advice, right? Not like I can go to my own dad about it. About what? Just where I stood with him. With you, your mom. I felt guilty that, like, I was just borrowing your family from you and that it wasn't fair. I never saw anything wrong with it. I didn't think there was anything like that going through your head either. So, David, he just laughed at me, made us coffee, and we talked it out. Turns out, he had similar ideas. He reached out for the license again, and I handed it back. A slight smile crossing his face as he looked down at my dad's face. Wandered off and brought out this folder, I guess? Had a bunch of papers and stuff he'd been collecting for work. Said because I wasn't a minor, it wouldn't be the same as, he had a word for it. But yeah. It had things for, like, a restraining order, adoption papers. It was nuts. Wait, adoption? Yeah. His hands were tied in dealing with my dad the normal way, but because I was over 18, there were still options. He said that you and I would need to share a bedroom until we could figure something out.
Adult adoption.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure, I'm sure it exists. I don't really get it. I know it exists in Japan, but I don't know. Huh.
I guess it's for legal reasons, like who can see you in the hospital and other like stuff.
Yeah.
Like being officially family.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
Weird.
your will and things. I chuckled at the idea, resting my head against Ty's shoulder. You'd make the room a mess, but I guess the upside is that we could get bunk beds. You'd still want bunk beds at our age? All these people in the military with babies with their stupid little children's toddler bunk beds for babies. as long as I got the top bunk. Yeah, fat chance of that happening. I'm the older brother, so I get to pick first. Even when you made a mess of the room? Would not. Not that it'd matter, given you leave your fucking paint and junk everywhere. Right, Dave paints.
Oh yeah, he's an artist. I forgot that
Famous
was part of his character.
Trait of Dave.
It informs his worldview and changes how he solves problems.
Yeah. I need all that space for art. It just helps make the art happen. Bullshit. Maybe just a little bit? Still calling bullshit. I haven't seen you make something in a while either. You should do it again. I haven't? Not that I've seen anyway. Well, that should be easy enough. I'll do something when we get home or whatever. Can we just go back a couple steps? So all those papers are back at the house. All this time we've actually been brothers? Like, actually? Nah, we didn't go ahead with it. There was other shit going on. Hard to talk about other stuff. Then. Had to talk about other stuff, and then it was time to get ready for work, I guess? Oh. Still went and got a couple of things put in place, though. Restraining order and whatever. But didn't get around to finishing them after what happened. Is it in place or not? Is there a restraining order in place or not? It's impossible to interpret from this what they mean.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Put it in place but didn't finish it. What does that mean? When you put a restraining order in place, that's it. You did it. So when we get back? I don't know. Probably figure out how to get them going again. At least a couple of them. Wouldn't mind having their restraining order at least. Well, okay. But when you move in properly, I need to teach you how to do art stuff. Who says I want to learn? It's my room. You should know this stuff. We're sharing a room. You need to be able to draw. This is... I'm sure I could figure it out. Might know how to do it already. Okay, name one art then.
This isn't funny. You're laughing. It's not funny. It's annoying is what it is.
That's why I'm like, well, I'm laughing because it sounds insane.
It's
like, what the fuck do you
just
mean?
Here to be a meme because that's what sells copies, baby.
The fuck is he saying? The fuck do you mean one art? Just name one. I don't know, the one of the soup? What soup? Ty grumbling, rubbing his head. Look, art is your thing. You want me to get your car working, that's when you should leave it to me. Only cars, though? What if it's like a hinge breaks in the kitchen or something?
Did we know that Tyson was into cars? I think we did, right?
I don't remember.
I feel like this is just speaking in generic terms now.
We're
Dave is an artist. He likes art. We are different. Tyson likes car. It's like, okay, well,
we're very distanced from what people's abilities are because they don't come up in the setting. And it's like with Leo, the mechanic shop was an active concern throughout the narrative to varying degrees in each route. But there's no presence of Dave arting or Tyson carring, so
yeah.
Sure, I could do that. Nodding slowly, I rubbed my knees and he put an arm over my shoulder, yawning. Ty? What? Are we good? Like, actually?
Deeply
Why?
no. Deeply no, not good.
No, everyone's unwell. I'm just confused is all, like, finding out about Dad being here, about the adoption papers, about that motorcycle outside. Get him, Tyson.
That was very strong, and I got really confused because I was like, what's happening in game? Where'd that come
Memphis
from?
is here. Final chapter. It wouldn't change anything. I might as well just do it now. I had no idea any of this was happening. Don't see how this is about you and me, though. Well, I didn't know this stuff was happening with Dad. I didn't know that, well, he had stuff he kept from me. Get to the point, Dave. What I mean is, all the stuff you've been keeping from me too, like, are we good? There isn't something that you're just hiding from me because it's easier, right? Fine, I'll tell you the truth. I'm already adopted. We are actually brothers. It's gonna be super weird when we fuck now. You wanna know all my secrets now? No, I just... He pulled away and shuffled around to be sitting one leg over the side of the bed so he was facing me. This past year has been rough for both of us. Yeah, it's been more shit for you, but bad stuff happens all the time. Just because I don't go with telling you everything doesn't mean we're not good. So, yes, we're good. We're good, I think. What makes you unsure? Just personal stuff. You'd get it, but I don't want to share. Before you go asking, I just don't want to. Oh. Yeah, that'll fix it, Tyson. Listen to me. We're good. I'm good, you're good, we're all good. At least as much as we can be, right? The way his eyes glinted as he looked at me made me feel funny. Hello? I couldn't place what it was specifically, but it felt something like what I imagine love would be like. You've literally said you love him to his face already. I think more than once. I could feel my heart beat harder in my chest the longer we just looked at each other wordlessly. My throat felt dry, and the thoughts that were starting to surface were making me uncomfortable. It'd be extremely funny if you played Dean's route, and there's just never a single moment of him feeling love.
Yeah.
Like the whole time he's just like this whole time he's like, this is nice. He's nice. This is nice. Then you play any other character and you can feel him like having fucking heart palpitations over the love that he's feeling. It's just like this. It would be subtle, but it'd be deeply tragic. There was a slight tilt in his head as he was looking at me, as I wondered something that had crossed his mind. Some sort of suspicion or maybe realization he was still working through. Carefully, he reached out and cupped a hand to my neck, then up to my cheek, and finally to the back of my head. My head was against his chest a moment after, listening to his heartbeat, while he hugged me close. This was a safe space. This was my safe space, at least right now. This is upsetting and for reasons. I shook as I thought back to how things had been at the start of the vacation, and how they developed so far. Ty being everyone's enemy, then almost dying, and turn almost doing something to me that I really didn't want. Oh yeah, let's remind the player. Then learning that he saw me as his little brother or something like that. Learning? No. No, that's very clearly and specifically how you felt before this trip. That was just the part of the story where where the writer decided to add it to the story. But you can't say it now like it wasn't already true. And that he missed me before everything happened with Dad. The next intake of breath I had rattled on its way down, and I clutched Ty close as I started to cry. I didn't even know why, but it felt right, just letting whatever emotion this was vent out. Hey, don't fall asleep. My grip must have been loosening, and him speaking snapped me back to reality. I'm not falling asleep. The yawn betrayed me, though, and Ty just tussled the top of my head. Sleep after we've made dinner. I thought you did. Already.
Well, no, the grilled cheese sandwiches they ate 5 minutes ago were breakfast, so...
Well, that was lunch. But
sure.
After knife training, they said that they went to make dinner.
Yeah.
And then they went to Orlando and said they made dinner. And now they're gonna go make dinner. Also, he's already ready to fall asleep after sleeping all night the normal amount, then sleeping bonus amount to help Tyson catch up on sleep. Then they just had a grilled cheese, went outside, talked to Orlando, then came back, and he's ready to fall asleep again.
Yeah.
I think he has a problem.
He does. He's Dave from the visual novel Password.
No! The worst fate. He got up and offered a hand out for me to take. He didn't question the crying. He didn't mention anything about what happened, and I assumed that's just what he wanted. Oh, right. Good job. On what? Just letting yourself feel things, I guess. It's what I remember being normal, even if sometimes you're a bit of a brat and a crybaby. I chuckled, wiping my eyes. What, jealous? He tilted his head up. He tilted his head again as he sized me up, thinking it over. Maybe a little. We wandered downstairs to prepare for dinner, knowing full well that eventually people will start to getting hungry. Even if we still had time to spare, we spent the time idly tidying and keeping each other company until it was time for dinner. Yay! Aw. They're baiting me with fake skips. How could they do this to me? With the exception of Oswin and Benson, everyone else was here. But having seen neither hide nor hair of Oswin since this morning made me worry. Or if not worry, curious. Why do you keep walking back every feeling you have? Like it wasn't true or something. It's just so weird. It's always like this, or if not that, this. I'm like, no, what? Why you not don't know what your own feelings are? Plus, I had some words for him after what I'd figured out. Question was, which way should I go to the lab? Or would it be better to find Benson and ask to see Oswin? All things considered, if Benson wasn't around, I couldn't rightly ask him anyway, so that made the decision easier. Cool, thanks for typing that all out for some reason.
Dave, what are you thinking about?
Just wondering where Oswin is, or Benson even.
It's a wonder we haven't seen either of them, unless someone's just forgotten to mention it.
A quick look around the table indicated that no one else had seen him, as they collectively shrugged or shook their heads in turn.
Probably somewhere in the house, right? Not as if they'd go out and leave us to fend for ourselves.
That'd make sense, yes. Just seems unlikely that we'd miss them is all.
I was thinking about going to check is all, seeing if either of them had figured out a plan for the next couple of days, or even if they're hungry.
I'm sure they're fine. Benson's likely got things covered given he's the butler, right?
I think it's worth checking. It wouldn't harm us to ensure they're both okay.
I'll go do it now. I finished eating anyway.
You're going alone?
Well, yeah. Shouldn't be a problem, should it?
house is secure. There hasn't been anyone else lingering around as far as I know.
Roswell fidgeted on the spot, looking me over. There was something in how he did it that made me feel odd. What's wrong?
I don't know, I should go with you, just in case.
I frowned, thinking that if Roswell were to come, I'd miss my chance to properly talk to Oswin, and by extension Thanatos, were he to be around.
Roswell's not allowed to come. I forbid it.
If he were to come, were he to be around. Don't write that. God, it's so annoying. It's just a bad sentence. It'll be alright, Roswell, promise.
But Dave...
It'll be fine. I've done the last fucking 5 days without you. Why do you need to be here now? Sal put a hand on Roswell's shoulder, shooting him a look.
If anything happens or if you find something wrong, just yell and we'll come running. I don't think we need to keep together so long as you're just staying in the house.
Just come running to the secret passages you definitely know the locations of. Then Sal shot me a very serious look, hand leaving Roswell's shoulder.
Don't let it be like the other day when you wandered outside without telling anyone where you went.
Day 13, I guess? The rabbit day?
Yeah.
Like ages ago now? A chill ran down my spine, being made to remember how that went. I promise, no leaving the house, and if anything happens, I'll just yell.
Good. I was gonna say, where's Hoss?
He's dead.
Is he with Orlando right now? Is that how the groups happened? Is that the setup that was established?
I don't remember.
Okay, well.
We're just not really using the buddy system because no one's actually looking for medals anyway. So everyone's just hanging out in the house.
Oh yeah, it is weird that we established we needed to look for the medals and then no one looked for the medals.
Yeah, this happens every time that happens in every route. We're reminded about medals, then no one does anything. Even we just like hung out in the weird guest room and then Tyson took his shirt off, then put it back on, and then that was the day. The moment he eased up, it seemed to sate everyone else at the table who had similar thoughts. Not that it did much to calm Roswell, who still seemed to take issue about me going alone, but I'd just have to make it up to him later. Make it up to him? What does that mean? You're not wronging him. Rushing out of the dining room, I made to leave for the basement. After all, it seemed to be the most direct route to the lab, without needing to go all the way upstairs and circle back down. Dave really might as well just not tell people where he's going and just do stuff, and so they don't question him about going to meet with Oswin, because boy, are they just not in the plot.
Yeah.
His characters just are not relevant to the game, despite being most of the cast. After yesterday, I looked at the hidden door, wondering if I should knock or just go wandering down there. You don't knock on this door, there's a whole passageway. Just like, make some noise on your way in. Just be like, hey, it's Dave, I'm coming. Don't get startled. Stephanie, stop jumping every time I am in the kitchen. Stephanie is so fucking jumping in the kitchen that it's fucking hilarious. Sometimes I'll be actively making noise while I approach, and then she'll still like get startled by my sudden appearance as if there wasn't a ton of warning. It's so consistent. Before I knew what I was doing, I already opened the door. My decision made. How long do we have again?
That depends on what you mean.
I could hear the smugness in his voice as I traveled through the dark to the pale green light of the laboratory, followed by the annoying grumbling from Oswin that followed. You know damn well what I mean, Thanatos.
1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4. It doesn't matter, and you know it.
Holy fuck, they're just like this at each other all day, every day. No wonder everyone's so miserable all the time in this fucking house. We're not even in this conversation, they're still doing it. Why doesn't it matter? Just tell me what I want to know.
Until this experiment is over, well, why not get Junior in here and I can tell you both?
I froze in my place near the door as Osmond bolted out and nearly ran into me, grabbing me quickly and throwing me inside. What did I tell you about sneaking around?
Don't be too hard on him. He's after answers just like you.
Yeah, actually. A couple things, but yeah. I can't believe Dave is after the thing he's always after. The one thing he's ever doing is asking Oz questions. Fine, sit down. He gestured to a seat near his desk and I took it, watching Thanatos parade back and forth along the desk. Where's Benson?
He'll be here soon, just getting Oswin a snack.
How much did you overhear? Not a whole lot. Something about how many days until something? An experiment?
Oh good, you did hear that part.
Pay him no mind, Dave. What did you need? I came to check in. Plus, I guess ask a few questions of my own.
Like what?
Among what this experiment is, what were you doing in the dining room this morning? 2 days ago. They don't know what day it is in these scenes all of a sudden. Answer him.
What if I don't want to?
I shot Thanatos a confused look, scratching my face. Want? Answer him.
Fine, geez, you're no fun.
Making a show of stretching out and leaning back against the wall, he looked between Oswin and I before speaking.
Alright, so to cover with what happened this morning, I wanted to go for a walk.
Just a walk?
Why not? If Oswin and Benson get to walk around, why can't I?
You know damn well why.
If you weren't able to stop me in another iteration, what makes you think you could stop me now?
About that, if you remember everything we've ever done, then what's the point of doing anything at all?
What do you mean?
Like, even you asking the question, you know the answer before I even say it, or what would have happened this morning when Osmond showed up.
That's right. Think about it this way. If I know how the conversation is going to go, I can guide it how I want by saying the right things, yeah?
You do not have free will.
No, but I do have orders existing from way back to nearly the first time I woke up.
And that's what exactly? Good luck, Dave. Supposedly he's been commanded to not reveal that. Then just command him to reveal it?
Sorry, no can do. Order stands to not tell anyone until the experiment is done.
Right. What is the experiment anyway? Just the idea of morphic resonance and the vault, or rather Thanatos, proving that he can do what he was built to do. And the time limit?
But that depends on you, doesn't it?
I don't fucking know, man. Meaning?
You know that Tyson's the next one at risk during the full moon. You could always just walk away now and let it happen.
There is something worth bringing up here. There is? Consider for a moment that he's orchestrating events to happen in a certain way. Perhaps the vision you saw only came out because Thanatos somehow manipulated you into causing it to happen.
Big claim, but can you prove it?
Alas, I cannot. The only thing I have to rationalize is that... the only thing I have to rationalize it is the paradox of which event came first. Presumably, something happened, and you could be expediting the same sequence of events by different means. You can't just reintroduce paradoxes to a timeline the time travel system that doesn't feature paradoxes. You didn't write that story.
Well, aren't you a killjoy? You're right. I just had to take steps to pose it as an obstacle, depending on what Junior there does. Tells me what my next job is.
Well, I know now, so what's the next job?
keeping you alive, assuming you can keep Tyson sane for another night. Deadline's tomorrow night. And you should know now what the trigger is.
Right. I turned to Osmond with a frown. Why did you tell Thanatos to drive Tyson insane? I did no such thing. His eyes went to Thanatos before turning to me. But he said...
I'm confused because Dave should know that Oswin isn't his master. He's said it multiple times now. So why is Dave turning to Oswin like, why'd you tell him to do this? When it's like, he literally like just fucking said, what are you talking
Tyson's
about?
Oswin's intuitively his master, but he keeps saying weird things that indicate otherwise. And Dave's just not cluing in at all.
Said I'm allowed to.
We're not done until you tell me how long we have left on the experiment. Surely you know.
It's variable. It could end tomorrow night, it could end a week from now, or just under 2. I've seen the end of the experiment a few different times, so telling you that it could end any time doesn't help, does it?
I could almost hear Osmond grinding his teeth. So, to double check, you came into the dining room this morning to do something, and then did that knowing you'd be caught and then left? I do admit you were keeping something somewhat quiet even after we left. Why?
Just setting a failsafe up. If I find myself in the timeline with Memphis, I'd rather not have my body damaged. More people that can repair me, the better.
But how does Dean finding you help?
He's an option. Maybe not the best one, but I'll take what I can get. Sure not going to trust my repairs to the lion who can't put an ECM back together.
I scratched my chin, thinking it through. If you need repairs, I may as well do it. I think I have another question.
Go on.
Are you on our side? Like, this experiment isn't meant to kill us, right?
I was hoping you weren't going to ask that question, but here we are.
That doesn't sound good.
Is it meant to? No, but it's listed as unacceptable to achieve a result, collateral damage or whatever.
There's no way I would have sanctioned that.
Good thing it's not your experiment anymore, then is it?
Then whose is it?
You're just gonna need to find that out yourself, sorry.
It's just gotta be Floranica, unless it's some sort of out-of-time Roswell or a true ending Dave that caused all this somehow.
I'm like nearly 100% certain at this point that it's either Florencia or Roswell. I don't think it's Dave. I don't think it's David. I think it's Roswell or Florencia.
You don't think that like in the true ending, Dave like merges with the vault and causes everything in the first place or something?
Nope, not at all.
I feel like we'd be wasting our time interrogating him further. I already have a headache. He can make those. Wasn't Benson meant to be coming around? You're right, that's a bit of a worry. I wonder what's keeping him.
He won't be long. Sorry for the delay. I'm here now.
My weird sprite where I look like I'm standing on a box. Benson strode into the room and placed a cup of tea, along with what seemed to be a slice of cake, on the desk next to Thanatos.
Thanks, Benny boy. You know that's not for you, abomination. Now, be nice.
Benson, everything all right? It's unlike you to dawdle.
Quite. I had questions to answer the moment I appeared in the dining room. The others informed me that David come looking for the two of us, and a curious young man decided to question me further.
You mean Roswell?
Indeed. Not that there was a problem with that, although I do apologize for not bringing you refreshments either, Dave.
It's fine, I think. You're both alive. I got what I needed, and that's basically it, really. Leaving already? Oh, because you love my company so much. Well, it's not like we can get much out of Thanatos, and I don't think you have anything for me either, right? If he decides to drop any pearls of wisdom, I'll be sure to let you know come this morning.
Pearls of wisdom is what he calls his little his little rat poops.
His little rat poopies. Okay. Good night then. That's how my dad ruined Cocoa Puffs for me, is he said that they were rat shit. Or they're rabbit shit, which does look like Cocoa Puffs, and then I didn't want them anymore.
I don't understand why one would say that.
I don't know. Just to bully your child.
Yeah, no, exactly. That was what I was implying there.
Yep.
Is that's just terrorism.
Yeah, but I just moved on to eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I think.
All right, nice.
History, lore, wow. Okay, good night then.
Sleep well, Junior.
I backtracked through the passage and closed the door behind me once I emerged into the basement. Stretching, I headed upstairs and checked the dining room for the others, if they were still around. I didn't realize that the lab was downstairs. Anyone here? Yay! Oh. The one line of skip
every single time.
Ty looked up at me from the sink, washing the dishes. You're back. Yeah, turns out Osmond was just holed up doing science or whatever. Well, I just lied to his face, huh?
Osmond is a fucking caricature of what children think science are. He was doing science.
I'm doing science with my science machine. Well, good to know, I guess. I stole a look out the window, then looked back to Ty, who was still watching me. Doing the dishes? Yeah. We made dinner, so I figured I'd clean. Since when are you this tidy? Fine, you do them. He pulled his hand from the water, then started rubbing them over my face to make my fur stick out in weird angles. Ew. Ew, dishwater on my face. Dave didn't even get to eat. Dave, go eat. Dave, you didn't eat dinner. Hey, I wasn't ready. What? I need to pose first. Shut up and let me do the dishes. He continued, his tail swinging gently behind him and seeming in a better mood than before. You really did need that nap, huh? Or you really did need that nap, huh? Tell me about it. Head's still a little sore, but it's better. You should sleep in my bed tonight. What? Shocked face? The thing we did last night together? Because we're in a couple in this route? You know,
they're a brother couple.
Don't. We're gonna get discoursed. You know, if
I'm not the one condoning it. I'm not taking up a Grizz, man. It's not me.
If your room is so loud and all. Right, yeah, I guess that makes sense, huh? You don't mind swapping? Why would they swap? Also, why is this marked as new dialogue when it's clearly the other scene copy-pasted, but into a different part of the programming, I guess? But it doesn't reflect the fact that they're like romantic. They would just cuddle. They cuddled last night. Why would like they got to the point of cuddling and sleeping together, then the Thanatos story started, so instead they slept separately and didn't comment on why. Then the next night they did sleep together to fix the problem. Then the next night they're gonna quote-unquote fix the problem by just swapping for some reason instead of sleeping together? Like, what is happening? Oh. I hadn't intended for that to come across as swapping, but all things considered it seemed like a better move, if only to avoid Thanatos. What? But given Thanatos' orders, swapping rooms would just make my room into Tyson's, which got us nowhere. What? No, that's not how it worked either.
Yeah, that isn't how it worked in the last.
Swapping does work. Okay, they are gonna do it together. Why did Tyson think otherwise? They just did it last night. It's so weird. No, I meant, you know, together. Oh, sure. Yeah, that's fine too. The way he'd replied sent me for a loop. So casual about it that I wasn't even sure he registered what I'd offered. What? Oh, my Earth's spinning. I can't believe Senpai's going to share a bed with me, even though he did it last night. We'll just need to get something from my room first, but that should be fine. Get what? Just something, don't worry about it.
This game, I feel like the experience of reading this is like is what it's like to have dementia.
Yeah.
Because like you just like forget what happens 5 seconds prior in the plot, and like very clearly plot important stuff is constantly occurring, but the characters are just like gaslighting themselves, and they'll be like, oh, what, here's a conversation that happened this morning, and you're like, I'm like almost certain that was 2 days ago in the plot. What is going on here?
It's a lot. And it's all reinforced by it all looking like an old person's home in grayscale with bloom.
Yeah.
So you're just like, everything does feel like it's an end of life experience. I just processed that Grizz was willing to blur the watermark on that one background, but not blur the human people in the other background. I
know. It's really distressing to me. I think that it's insultingly low effort at times.
People have known about the humans in this game for years. Why wouldn't you remove them? Just replace the file with an edit of that image. I don't understand. I'm so confused. When Ty finished washing the dishes and I was tagged in to dry them, we headed upstairs together. You mean after that, then? Otherwise, you said when you were tagged in to dry them, you went upstairs, so you just didn't dry them? He went to his room and I went into mine, figuring it was time for a shower. The hot water felt nice. Considering how thoroughly they chronicle every single meal and sleeping every single day, it stands out how much they don't chronicle showers, implying that they don't shower most of the game. Like
yes.
Dave showers 3 times per month, according to this game, because everything else is painstakingly chronicled. The hot water felt nice, especially with the steam clearing my nose of all the dust from the corridor to the lab. Then the added bonus of lightly scented soap on top made me relaxed. I'm describing showers to you, in case you haven't heard of one. My clothes left on the floor. To be fair,
a bunch of nerdy furries. Good chance they've never heard of a shower before.
Oh no.
Got him! Lit him right up!
Original joke. Fuck furries.
We did it! I really put him on blast.
My clothes left on the floor of the bedroom, plus the sound of the shower should have been enough to give away for where I was, but I heard Ty call out all the same. I was gonna say, this is just bait for Ty to walk in on you showering.
Yeah.
Hey, you in the shower?
Psh, hey, you in the shower? Shh. That's the water's going. Fucking
I was gonna
stupid.
say, like, should have been enough of a giveaway, but I'm like, well, he's right. He does know you're in the shower, at least. Yep. Whom. Their bodies look completely different in CGs than the sprites. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Doop-a-doop. Also, Tyson's just gonna claim he doesn't have muscles. He's always drawn huge. It wasn't long before the door behind me opened and in stepped Ty, pushing me out of the water to get himself drenched, then pulling me back under the direct flow of the water. Just manhandling you in and out of the spray. Could have waited your turn. Didn't feel like it. Pass the soap. I'm using it. Wait your turn. You're just scared of dropping it now that I'm here. Don't. That's the wrong joke to make given your history, Tyson. Do not make prison rape joke. You, no. A little, yeah, no.
A little, yeah.
No. His hands on my size froze when I quipped back, putting him on the back foot. Really? If you wanted to do something, Ty, you would have just done it by now. This is just getting clean, right? I don't like that implication. Like, if you wanted to do something, you would have taken me. I'm like,
This is too much.
This all feels extremely tone deaf.
It is tone deaf. The reason why it feels extremely tone deaf is because it is.
Man, Tyson's unrecognizable compared to literally every other drawing I've seen of him in the game. It looks like fan art. Offering out the soap to him, I rinsed off and moved out of the way so he could wash properly. Didn't need me getting your back? Already did it. Huh. He turned his back to me as he continued to wash down, and I felt odd. We'd seen each other naked before, but with his back to me, I almost felt like he was embarrassed, or if this was just like a gym shower. What? As in, like, not romantic, I guess, was he mean, or something? I stepped out to give him his privacy and toweled off, moving to use the blow dryer around the time the water switched off. Just as well as Ty decided to shake rather than towel off, making me need to focus drying one whole side again, so I felt comfortable putting on clothes. Wasn't about to get dressed while still damp. Did he not shake in the shower? That's just annoying. Why wouldn't you shake while still in the shower? Having left Ty with the bathroom to finish drying off, I went and changed into my pajamas, even if it was just a pair of loose-fitting shorts, and lay on the bed and stare at the ceiling. This feels sad not just having a TV. I'm just gonna stare at the ceiling. I heard him coming out of the bathroom and rustling around for something before wandering off to bed. You tell the others you were back? No? I'll be back then. Someone else should know you've not gone missing again. He didn't even bother putting on pants, but I heard him talking to someone nearby. I sat up to see if it was happening just outside the door, but before I could get up to see who he was talking to, he came back. That was fucking fast. Someone was just at the door, I guess? Like a sentry? Dean said he'd let the others know. That's all?
The Dean was just listening in on them, naked, showering.
Yeah, wait. Hang on a minute. This implies things about Dean.
Yeah.
He's just spying. He's just spying on them being gay and like as like the jealous ex and just like huh? Yeah? Oh yeah, I'll tell everyone. Like just playing it off. And Ty just didn't register this at all. Also asked why I was in your room in just my underwear. Told him to fuck off. That was a fast conversation that seemed relatively abrasive, but happened so quick Dave couldn't look in your direction. Ty came over to the bed and dropped down next to me, grumbling. I would have liked to. I just said I haven't been sleeping well and you were helping with that. So, you didn't. Okay. A lot of caveats to the scene that could have just played out in the game for real. They could have just shown it. Well, at least you don't need to apologize to Dean now. Orlando was enough. Oh, right. Dean also said that you should make yourself free tomorrow night for a thing. Oh, good. Here we go. A thing? What thing? Fuck if I know what he was talking about. I just said I'd let you know, and he wandered off, looking happy with himself. Guess I'll find out tomorrow. Dean, just wandering off, whistling, completely toned up to the idea that like the person you're trying to hit on is sleeping nude with another man right now. It's time. While the iron's hot, it's time to make my move. Dean's just a stupid character. He's
incredibly dumb.
You could delete him from the game and nothing would change, except for all of the stupid things that are broken and bad about him. Guess I'll find out tomorrow. Guess so, huh? So, time for sleep, or? Guess so. You didn't bring anything to play or do, right? That's more Orlando's thing. He does games. I just stare at walls. I might have something we can watch on my phone? Pass. Just sucks you don't have an internet connection to look stuff up. Or to let anyone know we're here. Yeah, but it's not forever. We'll get home eventually.
It's just really hard right now to imagine like Dave and Tyson sitting here just like listening to the next Jenny Nicholson video. Like it's like the idea of Tyson being like, oh man, I wanted to watch Defunct Land. It's a shame that you don't have internet connection. It's like, well, okay.
What species is Jenny Nicholson?
Giraffe. No. Meerkat. That's a good one.
Meerkat. Someone get on that. No. So, given how many scenes take place in this room at night, where where it's just broad daylight out, it's extremely funny that very, very occasionally the lights will turn off in this room.
Yeah.
But only when they're explicitly switching off a light in the scene, and not when like it's supposed to be dark in this room sometimes.
Yeah.
He got off and flicked the light, throwing us into darkness. Move over, I want to get in bed. Shuffling around, so I was under my side of the bed. Ty went around the bed and got on the other, rolling onto his back. Dave? Yeah? Are you serious about bunk beds before? Only kinda. Why? No reason. I just... Is he feeling more distant because Dave said bunk beds, implying they wouldn't be sleeping together? Well, and like, that's like, maybe we're not gay. I just figured you want your own bed and it'd save some space, right? Yeah, I get it. You don't sound too happy about that. Guess it's just sinking in that this sort of thing will just stop at some point. It's not as if sharing a bed is something we do all the time anyway. And if it was, that'd probably not sit well with any boyfriend I'd have. Also, we'd probably need a much bigger bed. What? How do you write this scene? Why is Dave talking about getting a boyfriend? Like, he's not mischievous enough to be teasing Tyson right now, or anything. So he's just stupid. He's just deeply stupid and forgot they're in a relationship, seemingly. It's like there's just random scenes that are written like a will they won't they, but the actual storyline isn't a will they won't they. It just is. They already are. But they keep having will they won't they talks. Like they forgot. Yeah, probably. He rolled onto his side and reached out to me, cupping my face in his hand. Guess I just take stuff like this for granted sometimes. Sharing a bed? Being close to you. Not as if I had any siblings growing up, or even much of anything back home. I'm not going anywhere, Ty. You know that. I know. Like, a day ago they were like, oh man, us dating, what would mom think, right? She's probably gonna be a bitch about it. Then when I was like, anyway, we're gonna need a bunk bed, because what about when I get a boyfriend? We can't share a bed when I have a boyfriend. My boyfriend will love sharing a bunk bed with you, though, just looming over us. You can hear everything. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? He pulled me closer to him, keeping eye contact the whole way until he cuddled my head into the crook of his neck, resting his head atop mine. I know. We lay like that for a while before I heard Ty fall asleep. He must have been exhausted, having fallen asleep so quickly, after God knows how long of not sleeping well. He slept extremely well last night. For too long, until lunch. That said, I was tempted to fall asleep right next to him too. Being asleep meant that I could just not actively think about things for a while. Tempted to sleep? What else was going to happen? It came at the cost of dreaming, but it was at least a nice escape from everything else going on around the house. Why? Okay, so that didn't mean anything. He just... What?
Correct.
It just said he was tempted to sleep as if there's some reason not to, and then he slept.
Yep.
The thing that he was there to do the whole time. Premeditated sleeping. It wasn't spur of the moment. He wasn't lured in. Like, what a weird line.
All right. So frustrating.